Hello lads and ladies, and welcome to this, and welcome back for another video on the channel. Today we are discussing League One, and more importantly, one of the best teams in League One. They score goals, they're entertaining to watch, an unbelievable fan base. It's Portsmouth, if you haven't guessed already. They play 4-4-2, they've got the Cowley brothers in charge. We need someone to discuss it with. Unfortunately, Andrew was busy, so we've got Tom from 4-0 written all over it. Tom, how are we doing, mate?
I wasn't expecting that. That's top tier. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. I'm all good. Busy day today, but yeah, we're all good. How are you doing?
I'm very good. We discussed off there about the starts to the season that we've both made. We've both conceded the same amount of goals in 8 goals conceded. You scored 19 goals. You've been absolutely electric. You know, you won 4 games in a row, drew last time out as well. Both of us didn't have a game this weekend. You were meant to play Bolton. We were meant to make the long trip up to Oxford ourselves. Just talk to me about those first 9 games, because you played some tough sides in there. You made Fortress Fratton again. And Portsmouth seems to be where it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It went flat for a little bit, but it seems to be, you know, revitalising on the South Coast.
Club, the feel-good factor, the general feel of kind of the football club in general, and I think that kind of it stems from the players. It stems from the performances that they're putting in on the pitch, which obviously triggers the reactions in the terraces. But yeah, I mean, you asked me about those first 9 league games, and we're not even in double figures yet, so it's obviously, you know, difficult to pull too much of sort of metrics out of it, because there's so little to go on. But we mentioned earlier on before we started recording that we've played some really tough teams. We've had Peterborough, who we took 3 points off, Plymouth, we took a draw, and Sheffield Wednesday as well, it was draw as well. So we've played some tough games.
That you say about the feel-good factors come back, and the Cowleys have installed that. You know, Johnny Barton made a ridiculous comment about 4-4-2, didn't he? For me, ludicrous. I always say, look, there's ways to play football, and it suits Portsmouth Football Club in the way they play. They've got good midfielders.
And Ben, I watch us play passes, and I'm like, where the so-and-so did that come from? Like, you just think, what on earth is going on? We're playing such intricate football. It's like watching Barcelona. Probably not Barcelona. That's probably the wrong team to quit. It's like watching Manchester City at some point. So you're pinging it around all over the place, and you just pull off a pass or a move or a passage of play. You just think, where on earth did that come from? And I think the Cowleys take a lot of credit, the players take a lot of credit, but also the fans spurring us on take a lot of credit. And as we say, the Fratton end sucks the goal in the net.
Didn't it like last year against us? 3-0 down against us. It was always going to come, and you scored a last-minute equaliser to make it 3-3. League One, a team group wins tournaments, it wins trophies, it wins promotions. Wigan did it, Wickham have done it, Burton did it a few years ago. You know, you've seen Fleetwood and Shrewsbury get to the playoffs at this level, you know, a couple of years ago from a team ethos as well. You've always got to mention Fleetwood doing well, because they always remember the bad times, not the good, as well. We will mention League One, because you have mentioned there's a lot of good teams up there with you as well. Last weekend, when you did play Plymouth Argyle, Ipswich also played Sheffield Wednesday. There are another 3 sides that are going along nicely. And you could even add Bolton Wanderers to that list. And Barnsley, who have pulled a really good run together. They've won 3 of the last 5, drawing 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a league where any team beats any team, but good teams beat good teams as well.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where you take today, for example, you take that game that Plymouth and Ipswich played against each other. I just thought the quality of the football, some of the balls and the passages of play, and some of the set pieces as well, the way in which those have been rehearsed and the routines that were made and displayed on the pitch, I just thought was exemplary, and I was really impressed by it. Sorry about the light, by the way. I'm in a bit of a disco here. And
it's a bit like Fleetwood, on, off, good one minute, bad the next.
Yeah, I don't know what. Can you still see me, or do you want me to sort it out?
I can see you. Just unfortunately, go around about Portsmouth while Fleetwood are, you know, rotting down that table a little bit.
We'll go on to speak about you in a minute, Ben. But the League One wise, I'm just really impressed, and I'm actually quite concerned by the amount of teams that are going to be going for those automatic promotion spaces. I feel like we're going to need to have a 6-team playoffs this season to do it justice. It really feels like that. It feels like there's going to be teams, you know, you can't have it's so difficult, isn't it? It's Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, Portsmouth, Charlton Athletic, Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, all in the same division, and it's like, what's going on? I'm really excited about the ride, to be honest with you. I think you probably more than me, because you are, as I said, you've forgotten more about League One than I ever know, Ben. As I said, so you go on. Tell me your thought. Don't ask me, Ben. We want to hear from you. How is it going to finish right now? 9 or 10 games in end of September.
Well, Tom, I was just about to ask you that myself, actually. And I live and breathe this league. If you look at it, Plymouth Argyle, we're 10 games in, they've got 22 points. You bear in mind, after the first 2 games of the season, they won 1, lost 1. They've got 19 points from 8 games. That is an unbelievable run. They've won 4 of the last 5. They went to Derby, were 2-0 down. They won 3-2. They've come from behind again today to win. They've just got character. They've just got spirit. They've just got energy. They've just got goals.
Can I tell you something about Plymouth? For me, it is the way in which they can just go for the jugular in the space of about 10, 15 minutes. So you mentioned that Derby one. It happened at Fratton Park. Sean Raggett scores an own goal on whatever it is, the hour mark. And then within 5, 10 minutes, you're 2-1 down after being 1-0 up. And it's like, and it happened today, didn't it? I mean, they
shocks you.
Ladapos, it does, and they literally pounce on it. They jump on the momentum, the wind's in their sails. They realise that and recognise it and go, right, let's get another one now and let's be ruthless. And I think it's that relentlessness and ruthlessness that's going to win you games, especially the tough ones. So for them to do that, and for them to take 10 points from Oxford, Ipswich, and Portsmouth in the last couple of games.
Really
fair play. So yeah, carry on, Ben. You were on a roll then. Fair play. So yeah, carry on, Ben. You were on a roll then.
They also beat Bolton Wanderers at home. They beat Peterborough at home. These are good sides. They've got good players. Mumba, I like Finn Azaz. The one good thing is Bar Kamara, who we all knew was leaving, they didn't lose many players. And I really do believe Plymouth will go up this year, just for what they get. You cannot give them an inch. These are good sides. They've got good players. Mumba, I like Finn Azaz. The one good thing is Bar Kamara, who we all knew was leaving, they didn't lose many players. And I really do believe Plymouth will go up this year, just for what they get. You cannot give them an inch. I believe with some clubs in that top 10, you could give an inch. I honestly believe Barnsley, Wednesday, Bolton, if they got one, they're more likely to sit on it and try and counter you. Plymouth Argyle, Portsmouth, Ipswich, they don't do that to you. They hurt you. They're ruthless. They're horrible. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. I just think Plymouth, Ipswich and Portsmouth, that top 3 at the moment, will go up. And
that's big.
I just think Wednesday's inconsistency, they're not brilliant away from home all the time. They can pull off results at home. You saw that. You went there on the opening day. It was a thriller. I've said Peterborough, the easy moments where they're 2-0 up, 3-0 up. They can pass the ball for fun, they can score goals. But in difficult moments, Peterborough, they struggle. And you've proven that in the last maybe 8, 9 games, really. I honestly believe Cambridge, Exeter, Lincoln, Accrington, Fleetwood, Vale, those types of clubs that are hovering around the top 13, 14. Accrington won 2 in a row, the 13th. It just shows you what a good couple of runs, good run can do with a couple of wins.
Can I ask you which 2 are your top 2 and who wins the playoffs out of those 3 then? What do you reckon?
I think it's going to be Plymouth who win the playoffs. I think Plymouth are very, if I'm honest with you, Tom, I think Plymouth Argyle are very adaptable for the playoffs. I think over 2 legs, high energy, gung-ho football. I think they need to be at home park second leg. I think that is crucial for them. But I reckon they get the job done. If I'm having a look at the bottom 4, which before we'll come on to you, I honestly believe it'll be Burton. I think Morecambe will go. I think Forest Green will go. I think it's a questionable own now, speaking to Dylan, a Forest Green fan. I don't think the manager's good enough as well. I think Cheltenham will replace Bristol Rovers in that bottom 4, if I'm honest with you. I think Vale, Fleetwood, I've got too much about them. And then Charlton, Wickham, MK Oxford, they've got 2 good managers and 2 good stale abilities at their football clubs to challenge to go down. I think it's probably one of the easiest relegation falls at this moment in time. But I want to hear from you, Tom. We've got you on as well. Who's going up? And again, They can enjoy all the ride on your channel, by the way. Just imagine going all the way to penalties at Wembley. Rest in peace, your heart rate.
We had that against Sunderland. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember.
mate, I was
You were
there.
there, weren't you? You were.
I was there.
I don't know if we could do that again, Ben, especially in League One when it's that important. But yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I would back the Cowleys at Wembley in the playoffs. I think it's the kind of the character and the relentlessness that they have demonstrated in our football games. And I mean, two people that I would want in a Wembley dressing room at half time would be Danny and Nicky to give the players a bit of an oomph and go, come on, boys, we're almost. And I think they keep their messaging quite simple. So when we were, I don't know, I don't know if it's been a game that we've been 1-0 down in so far this season. I think it might have been the Peterborough one where it was 1-1 at half time and we went on to win the game 2-1. And the messaging is just, there we go. That was the one. Sheffield Wednesday away, we were 1-0 down half time. And I think he came out afterwards, Danny, and said the messaging was just to be a little bit braver. And I think if you keep it as simple as that and you don't try and overcomplicate things, you know you've got the quality in your ranks and you can just... But that's not what you asked, Ben. I know that's not what you asked. You want my top three. So I would love to say Pompey, and I think the early signs are we basing this off the first 9 games, or are we basing this off how we think okay, so off the first 9 games.
And have they got the quality to keep it up as well?
Before today, I would have said absolutely nailed on for Ipswich. I didn't think they were beatable, and it proves that they can be against a really tough Plymouth side. I don't know if you can read too much into the fact that it was 2-2 against Plymouth for our game and then they beat them 2-1 at their place. I don't know if there's anything. I suppose home park's so important, isn't it? And I think you've said it on your channel before that Fratton Park wins you games as well. I think if we can maintain... I don't think our home form has been league winning, title winning so far this season. I think we're, what are we, 6th, 7th, 8th in terms of home form so far this season. Our away form's actually been better than our home form, which is more than we did last season. If Pompey can continue to get at least 2 points out of every game at Fratton Park this season, I think we give ourselves a good shot. If we can stay as, I don't know, we're not going to stay unbeaten because there's going to be mistakes and whatever. If we can stay, drawing and winning, and then drawing the occasional game at Fratton Park, I think that stands us in really good stead. And then, you've got to be as ruthless as you can be away from home, which I think we've kind of got the knack of now under this Danny setup. I think Ipswich will follow us up, or we will follow Ipswich up. I think those are your top 2 at the minute. I think next weekend will be really telling. I think that's really one to keep your eye on, because whoever wins that game then has the wind in their sails for until the next time we play each other, which is Christmas. It's actually quite a short gap, Ben. I don't know if you realise that. It's only, I think it's the last Wednesday of December we then play them again, and then that's it for the rest of the season. So it's quite a little gap where you can kind of pick up. And I think you got to give it to Plymouth. I think they demonstrated they've got the longevity, and if they can keep turning games around from tight areas where they have been doing, then you can't argue with the fact that they'll probably be playing Championship football next season.
Agree. If you had to have a little quick look at the bottom 4, Burton Albion are currently 4 points adrift. They have got a win recently, but lost yesterday away at Shrewsbury. Morecambe are the lowest scorers in the division. They're not looking great, Morecambe. I think they've got the lowest expected goals. Forest Green Rovers also struggling as well to find some form. Bristol Rovers are scoring loads and loads of goals, but they're conceding a lot as well. And then just above them, you've got Cheltenham. And then you have got some clubs like a Lincoln and Accrington, a Fleetwood, a Port Vale that you may suspect later on in the season may drop down a little bit.
Yeah, we've already been to Cheltenham this season. It was a comfortable 2-0 win, don't get me wrong, but I was impressed with some of the football that they put together. I wouldn't say they looked dangerous, but I definitely wouldn't say they look like a team that's going to go down this season. And I know they've had a few changes from last season, but they had a really good year last year. And I think although that is gone, that's still fresh in the memory, and they'll remember that they can do things to teams that you would expect would beat them, especially at their place. It's a nice little club, actually, Cheltenham. I like Cheltenham. And what I also like it, Ben, is I know we're on the same page with this, but I like teams that play football the right way. Yes. I like teams like Plymouth. I like Ipswich. I like ourselves. I like Peterborough. I don't like Wycombe Wanderers very much, for example. So there's the flip side of that. in terms of the simulation and the way. I think they've done less of it as the seasons have gone on. I think they're playing much better football than they did probably 3 or 4 years ago. But at the same time, still the time wasting element just is. You don't want to concede one against Wycombe Wanderers, do you? Because you pretty much lost the game the minute that goes in the back of the net. So yeah, you asked me specifically about those bottom four. Already been to Burton already this season, been to the Pirelli. I thought first half they gave absolutely everything, didn't score, and it just didn't fall for them. They had a few moments in that game where Josh Griffiths was tested, probably once or twice, where you think, oh, crikey, that could have gone anywhere. Other than that, I don't think they did a real showing. Defensively, they are leaky, very. And I think the fact that the first goal they concede against this is an own goal, I think that speaks louder than anything. I've watched Bristol Rovers already this season. I actually think the amount we both detest Joey Barton, I actually thought they gave a good show of themselves, particularly first half. And I think it caused us problems. They asked a lot of questions of us, and I think that's really important to do, especially at a place like Fratton Park and Portsmouth Road and the Valley, etc., this season. But I think they have a manager who is clueless. I think he's delusional, and I think that some of the things he says, and you said it before we went on air, imagine him giving a team talk. You just wouldn't want to be there, would you? Morecambe, yeah, it's always a place where you can go to Morecambe, and Ipswich go to Morecambe, or Pompey go to Morecambe, or Sheffield Wednesday, Derby go to Morecambe, and it could just end up being 1-0 to the home side. They're another team. Derek Adam plays football the right way, and you can see them grinding out a few results. Forest Green, I'm yet to watch yet properly. I know they had a shocker against Exeter, and I know they've been bad. What did you say? The bottom four teams are pretty set in stone, or you think Bristol Rovers is going to replace Cheltenham? I think that's what you said.
I think personally, Cheltenham replace Bristol Rovers. Portsmouth, no problem. We'll see them down the line. I think will come to mind with what Joey Barton said. Will that be the case? I think Portsmouth would have to stay in League One for that to happen. I just think Bristol Rovers have got quality, and I reckon they're the type that have money in January to reinvest in some Premier League loans.
Good shout.
The long road this year. You're doing really well. You interviewed Danny Cowley yesterday, which was unbelievable. Again, where can
Movie magic, Ben. It was Thursday. It wasn't yesterday. It was Thursday, but it was uploaded yesterday.
We'll go again, won't it?
That's all right.
That's what I meant. I meant when the video was uploaded yesterday.
Please leave that in. That's amazing.
That's what I meant. Carnage. If this made the cut, then we're scraping barrel.
We're gonna have scored.
I said they would.
I said it was Thursday. I said it was yesterday.
Well, I can only go on the day that you put it up.
You can.
Anyway, talk to me about the channel. It's going really well at the minute, and deservedly so. I compared it to a proud dad moment. You're doing really well at the minute, and you're smashing the content. Where can they go and subscribe if they haven't already?
And I messaged you back, didn't I, and said I feel like a proud dad watching you as well, because it's been fun since the days when I remember pre-game before COVID, you came to Pompey and we had a chat outside the ground, and both of us have, without wanting to self-indulge too much, come on leaps and bounds with it, and we're really enjoying the ride, aren't we? So it's been a good number of years now. We're enjoying it, and it's just fun, isn't it? It's just great fun, and I think more than anything is, I don't know if you've had this before, and again, not wishing to blow trumpets or anything, steam up anyone's backside or anything like that, but when kids come up to you or mums come up to you and go, "Oh, can he get a picture of you? He always talks about you at home," and I'm like, "Well, that's exactly why you do it, isn't it?" For example, I bought this the other day. I walked into the club shop and there's a young lad behind the till, and he went, "I'm a little bit starstruck doing this sale," and I was like, "Don't be silly, starstruck. I just watch the football and have a camera in my hand." So yeah, 4-0 written all over it, Ben. I'm sure the link's in the description. Heading towards the 12k mark now, and yeah, we're enjoying it. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll have Ben on 4-0 Sunday Live next weekend as well. So if you could join us for that, we'd appreciate it. We're probably going to have a similar conversation to the one we just had now. So if you want more of that, then come and see it. Yeah, just enjoying the ride and enjoying League One, Ben. But first and foremost, subscribe to this channel, by the way, because there's much better. I mean, Ben literally surprises me on the daily basis about League One. I don't know how you manage to. I don't what the word is. What's the word I'm looking for? You manage.
I'm not being funny, Tom. You're asking a man of my simplicity for a word. I don't have good vocab.
I'm still searching.
GCSE.
What am I looking for? The way you can draw your knowledge together and reimburse it to the viewers is just fabulous. And I think it's so much fun to watch. And I watch every prediction video because that always sets me up for the weekend in League One, Ben, because I'm like, right, that's the game I want to look out for. That's probably going to happen because Ben said it's going to happen. So yes, it's been a pleasure to spend half an hour with you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, subscribe to this channel as well because he's working hard. He puts a lot of effort in, so he deserves it.
I do really appreciate Tom coming on as well. Get liking, get subscribing on this video as well. Go over to 4-0 written all over it. I'll be on there a week on Saturday after a mammoth 7-hour trip down to Fortress Fratton. Hopefully it won't be Fortress Fratton for very long either. Until next time, I will see you later. Tom doesn't like that comment in the background, but we'll mute him for now. We'll let this football do the talking a week on Saturday. Thanks very much for watching. It's a big over and out from me. See you in a bit. Tom, any final words, my friends?
Next 8th of October, Pompey 4, Fleetwood 0.